Hello, welcome to this reading, the first one of the channel. Yay! New starts, new beginnings. But yeah, oops, sorry. I don't have anything specific I want to read into. We're just gonna see what happens, what the card tell me, and what is going on. A lot, apparently. We start out with the Five of Swords in reverse, and then we have the High Priestess over here, and then the Two of Swords. Okay, so you need to... A lot of the conflict that you're experiencing is self-made. Sorry, don't scream at me, but it's true, it's true. Just gotta call it out like it is. So the thing is, you're supposed to embody this energy. The High Priestess energy, the one that leads, that does the rituals, the one that makes amazing things happen. Like, wow, like literally kind of like be the leader of your own life, right? But you need to let go of whatever it basically it is that you worry in a way. You know, you think you're not up for this position. You're like, I'm not ready to embody this yet, right? But the thing is, you just gotta do it. You just have to step into that identity. In the beginning, maybe it is fake it till you make it, right? But it's just like a shifting of thoughts, basically, you know, to embody this. It's just start telling yourself that you are the High Priestess of your life. Maybe all it takes is literally choosing. Just choosing a different thought. Every hour, basically, well, technically every second of the day, but it's all that you overcomplicate things too much, when at the end of the day it's just choosing. You decide every single second, and you have to decide again and again, basically, what it is that you want to experience, that new story, that new identity. People think like switching identities or like choosing something different or assuming it's just like, it's so difficult, I can't do it. But it's literally the way you clicked on this reading, just like that, you know. But let's look a little bit deeper into this. And also, just because it was the High Priestess, it does not mean you need to be a woman watching this. This is for my men too. It's just the High Priestess energy came up. But it's the same message for you too, you know. It's just like step into that leading position, basically. We have the Ten of Swords and ending. Wow, something being released. Ooh, okay, so I think this has to do with the energy of the Taurus full moon. Like a lot of things have been coming into motion, which maybe brought a little bit up some insecurities of like, can I do it? Can I do it? Can I do it? Right? The doubt is kind of like leaving the chat, and it feels foreign a little bit uncomfortable, because your mind is trying to keep you in that pattern, right? Because it's the habit, but you don't want to. And this is what you need to be working your way through, you know, being like, no, you know what? I do think I'm up for that job, or like that position, or that identity shift, where you're just gonna have to a little bit push yourself. I think like between today, maybe until Wednesday-ish, early Wednesday, where you're like, feels weird, but with every hour that passes, it's gonna be easier. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Okay, so we start with Judgment card, and then the Lovers, and then the Fool. Like literally 3 major arcana cards back to back. So let's decipher this. This week, you're gonna have a lot of realizations, a lot of aha moments, where you're like, wait, actually, it is that easy. Why have I been overcomplicating everything? Okay, you're gonna realize like how many things you're gonna be achieving. I'm here like in journal for November, where a part of you is literally sitting there being like, I could have achieved so much more this year. You know, if I would have just been open or aware of like actually how many things I can shift in my favor. But it's just now hitting. And before you get annoyed at yourself for not getting it earlier. It was supposed to happen, you know. Maybe you weren't ready before that emotionally or whatever. There was a reason for it, but now you worked through a couple of things, you released what needed to be released, and now you can finally realize like, oh my god, wait, actually it can be that easy, you know. With the Fool card and the Lovers here, okay, the Fool is the new beginnings, this fresh chapter basically, and the Lovers here is literally, again, like I said, like you deciding. It's just always you deciding the new stuff, always deciding the new path that you want to do. The image that I'm getting is like literally a multiple choice game. It's just always choose the option that you want to choose, like the best option for you right now, right? I'm spiraling, I have a little bit of anxiety. What's the next option that I can choose? Do something to ground myself and, you know, distract myself. Maybe like some journaling. Okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do like a little bit of an identity shift there, you know. It's just constantly making the new choice in this like game simulation basically that we're in. Don't worry, you will get the hang out of it, you know. The more you do it, the more you practice, the easier it gets. Interestingly enough, we got the same cards again, so I guess like they need to make a comeback. So we have the Five of Swords again, and then the High Priestess in reverse, in upright, but the Two of Swords. So let me shuffle a couple of more cards because I feel like there's a different story to tell here. Yeah, we have the Ten of Cups in reverse again. And right next to it, we have this time the Page of Cups. So you need to look at like your dreams a little bit, your desires, what it is that you want to achieve. The cards right now tell me that you are literally one decision away, basically. One uncomfortable feeling or like one ick away from where you're kind of like tired of yourself, of just constantly choosing against the best option, constantly trying to play it safe, where you're like, I have 2 months before the year ends. Do I want to close it with a bang, or do I want to regret choosing the safe route constantly again, the predictable one where I know what happens, and just, you know, still have not those dreams achieved? The Three of Wands. Because what you choose or what you focus on expands, right? So if we constantly choose the safe route where no opportunities pop up, it's going to continue being a lack of opportunities, a lack of money, a lack of success, a lack of love and all that. And we have the Page of Cups again. So like, what do we want to expand in our dreams? And sometimes, you know, it can be okay, like being like a middle path, you know. If you don't feel like going for the big goal right now, what's the next little step that you can take to bring you a little bit closer to that goal, you know? Everyone, like, for some people it's easy to just be like, oh yeah, I can think about like the big picture and work my way towards it and not feel like it's overwhelming. For other people, maybe it's helpful to break it down into little smaller goals, so each time you achieve a smaller goal and then it starts adding up, so you don't feel kind of like discouraged that like it might take a while, or it might take a while developing, or whatever it is. I have one more card here that turned around. We have the Eight of Swords. It's all about like freeing yourself basically right now. You're very trapped because of your own limiting beliefs. Ooh, so many cards right now. We have the Hanged Man and then the Page of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Three of Pentacles and then the Seven. of Wands. A big limitation is basically also like the people that you have around yourself. My speech is messing up. So maybe you also have a little bit of a fear of like speaking up about your dreams, like what you want to do and your goals, because the environment is not literally, or like the community is not the most supportive and all that. So your inner world is kind of like reflecting that, like how many of the assumptions and beliefs inside your own head are your own, or which ones are from other people, their opinions, their beliefs and all that. You need to figure out what do you want to keep and what do you want to let go of. Or if you realize like, oh my god, none of the assumptions and beliefs that I have right now are my own, then you need to make your own. You need to make a list of like, what do you wish for you to be true? And you have to be very, very defensive about like, what opinions of other people do you want to keep, or like keep accepting basically when they're constantly face to face to you and they're like, oh, money is shit, there are no good men or women out there, all that. You don't have to sit there and listen to it if you don't want to. And I know it sounds a little bit scary, basically being like, what do you mean? Like, it's not that easy. It can be if you allow it for yourself. We have the Queen of Pentacles. I'm hearing also like some of you need to put yourself on the pedestal. You keep everyone above you, everyone that you view them here, and you yourself here, because you think you need to be humble. You need to play small, you need to play it safe, because otherwise you will be attacked left and right. But being honest, you will never get far with that mentality if you always keep humble, if you feel like you need to downplay you, when you yourself are a very unique person that could bring a lot of big change. And also, do you need to suffer just for other people to feel better about themselves? Is that really the role that you want to have in your life? I don't think that you actually want to, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So are you finally kind of like ready to step up and have other people step down a little bit? Or are you just going to continue being that humble servant, basically? We have the Justice card, you know. Could be balance here, but could also be finally like looking the truth in the eye and realizing that you don't need to play small and keep everyone kind of like satisfied. Because the thing is, you're not responsible for other people's insecurities. They're grown adults. That's on them. Their healing journey is something that they need to embark on, and you cannot constantly be playing in the shadows just so they can shine brighter, basically. Okay, a couple of more cards and then I think we're good. Interesting. Okay, we have the Three of Wands and the Lovers and the Judgment card in reverse, which is interesting because before we had them upright, right? So here, this is basically the current energy where you're not taking the action, you're not taking or like choosing the right things that you actually want for yourself. You're trying to, what I'm getting is like you literally in the dark, trying to, with the hands a little bit, figure out which direction you're going, but just blindly, you know, being like, hopefully I will get to the destination one day. When you could actually have like, be still in the dark, don't know what's gonna happen, you know, but have like a flashlight at least to illuminate the path ahead of you, and don't feel like you're going in too blindly. I hope that analogy makes sense. I don't know. Spirit sometimes speaks in riddles and I'm the decoder, which but yeah, it's just like, do you want to illuminate the path? Do you want to shine the light on, like literally in front of your feet, to see where you're going, so you can see that you're going into the right direction? Or are we just gonna pretend to be like no, let's keep in the shadows, you know. Maybe one day, hopefully, it will work out, but I don't know. Will it though? Or do we just finally boldly decide and say, like, this is the path I want to take, and this is how we're gonna do it, and I actually want to choose for myself? Yeah, I think this is a good closing. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. What resonated for you? What really gave you the push to finally do the change? And what are you going to do? What are you going to change from now on? I would love to hear that. And any comment and like and share is going to help this channel grow and bring this message out to the next person that needs to hear them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next tarot reading.